Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today I'm genuinely excited because I bought a car that I love. I mean, you'll have seen the thumbnail already, so you know exactly what the car is. It's a 2003 Mercedes ML. For some reason, I've got a real soft spot for them. I'm genuinely excited about this. Oh, how sad. What a loser I am, honestly. The first generation ML isn't regarded as a good car by many people, or in fact any people to be fair, but I've just always liked them. I've just got a real soft spot for them. Every time I get in one, I'm just reminded of happy times. My parents had one while I was a kid. Well, not really a kid, like a teenager really. Then I passed my test and I would borrow it and think it was the best thing since sliced bread. Every time I get one into stock, which is few and far between now because they're so old, all these memories just come flooding back. I'm reminded of road trips in them across France, down to Gibraltar, all over Spain. I'm reminded of borrowing my dad's and blasting, I don't know, No Tomorrow by Orson, or whatever other rubbish I was listening to at the time. I'm reminded of driving around in my mate's ML with the sunroof open, and it had one of those full-size canvas roofs. We were driving around Benalmádena Marina on the night that Spain won the World Cup, or the Euros, whatever it was, and it was just party time. It was mayhem everywhere. I'm reminded of getting one stuck on a beach in Fuengirola, but that's a story for another day. I'm just reminded of all these things. So, for that reason alone, they do hold a place in my heart, as rubbish as everyone else thinks they are. In fact, I've got a story for you here. When I moved back to the UK, I'd spent a few months studying in Los Angeles, and I knew that I was coming back to the UK. I couldn't really afford to move to London, so I was living at home in Manchester. So I thought, I'm going to have to go to London regularly for auditions, meeting with agents, castings, all that sort of stuff. I don't do trains, so I'm going to have to buy a sensible car. I need something that's supremely reliable and also good on fuel. So, do you know what I bought? It wasn't an ML, by the way. It was a 4.6 litre Range Rover HSE. The old P38. Now, anyone who knows the P38 knows that they're notoriously unreliable and infamously bad on fuel. It was doing about 12 miles per gallon. I paid about 1,700 quid for it, and I picked up my mate the day that I got it, and within about 30 minutes we were broken down on the side of the road in a steam cloud. So anyway, after about 3 months of running that and doing less than 15 miles per gallon, I decided to buy something a bit more sensible. So I bought an ML270, and I did loads of miles in that car. I know them inside out. So we're on the way to go and pick up this 2003 example with 2 keys that kind of still flip. And I can tell you exactly what it's going to be like. I can tell you exactly what it's going to smell like. I can tell you exactly how it's going to feel sliding that old gear selection to drive. I can hear the sound of the doors unlocking, and then I can also hear the sound of the doors clunking as you slam the doors shut. I also know that in a few minutes' time I'll be sitting there on those comfortable armchair-like seats trying to justify keeping it. Because that is how sad I am. One thing I'm quite excited about is the potential spec of this car, because I know, because I've got the key tag here, that it's a London car. LF03EXX is the reg. Now, anyone who doesn't know this, let me just educate you. UK regs, the first letter indicates where the car was first registered. So an M signifies Manchester or Merseyside, D is Derby, L is London, B is Birmingham, and so on. I'm excited because I think anyone buying a brand new ML in 2003 in London must have had a few quid, which means they've probably specced it up quite nicely. Generally speaking, and I know I'm generalising massively, but people in London have got more money than us peasants up in North. So they pay for things like heated leather seats, sat-nav, things like that many people up here in the bleak North just wouldn't be able to justify. Anyway, we'll see. Getting worse down here. Well, anyway, here it is, my 2003 Mercedes ML270. Well, looks alright from afar, doesn't it? I know it's got quite a short MOT, I was told that when I bought it. I think there's about 6 days left, which is always quite worrying. The headlamps could do with a buff. Now, being an 03, they facelifted this model in 2002, so it's got the indicators in the mirrors and a slightly different front end. I know I'm biased, I've told you how biased I am, but I still think it's quite a good looking car, that. Quite handsome, isn't it? No? Just me? Okay. Alloys are corroded, obviously. The discs look a little bit warped, actually. The biggest problem with this era of Mercedes is rust, and this is no exception, unfortunately. In fact, that wing's been painted badly. The lacquer's peeling. What a terrible paint job. Cracked indicator lens. They always seem to rust around the arches, but that one's not too bad. The bottom of the doors are starting to go. You see the rust on the bottom of the doors there? Look at the back one, that's even worse. And the back arch. Yeah, looks like it's been in the sea. What a pity. We've got a Hankook up there, back. Oh, Hankook on the front. Have we got matching Hankooks or not? I'm personally not a big fan of the 270. It would have been much nicer if this was a petrol. They always seem to rust around the tailgate as well, look at that. Nasty. It's missing its tow bar cover there. I'd say the tyres match actually. Yeah, we've got matching tyres. Oh no, not quite. Nearly. Oh no, it is matching. Sorry, my mistake there. So matching set of tyres, wheels want refurbing. More rust. More rust everywhere. Bottom of the doors. Someone's done a neat little DIY job there, look at that. Professional spray by any chance? Oh, what a shame. Let's have a look in the back, see if we can find any goodies. Help if I unlocked it, wouldn't it? Oh, both work. Ah, it's a 7-seat one. This one's got the family pack. This, if I remember correctly, was something like a £2,000 option when it was new. And you could have had it as a 7-seater instead of a 5. More useless knowledge about nothingness. What have we got in the bag then? Oh dear. That's not what I wanted to see. The engine cover. Somebody's had it off, haven't they? I don't think they've had it off to clean it either. I think they've had it off because it's got an issue. Oh well, can't win them all, can you? Now I know it's only done about 100,000 miles, this car, so it's not particularly high. Let's, what should we do? Have a look under the bonnet. Now let's try and start it up. Get some heat going in this car. Ah, what did I tell you? This is a specky car, look at this. I've got sat nav. So, I'll give the glow plugs half a chance. A cold day. Yeah, it's not a great sounding engine, that 270, is it? If this was a 320 or a 500 or something, I'd be all giddy about it. Well, giddier about it. So it's done 104,747,000 miles. Not too bad, is it? And we have got heated seats. Look at that. Get those bad boys on. We've got a phone cradle there for a Nokia 6110. The old gear selector. I love that old Mercedes gear selector. Electric windows, electric mirrors. Interestingly, only this model with the family pack had these two buttons. These open the rear windows, which work. Very good. What about the radio station? Should we try that? Oh yes, it's like my old SL.
Towards COVID. So even at the height of the crisis, only roughly a quarter of the world's
Is that Tony Blair?
vaccine was being used to manufacture the COVID vaccine.
Enough of that, thank you. Radio 4, what do you know? Yeah, that's jammed. Mercedes, the best or nothing. Tiny glove box. Leather armrest there that always seems to go a bit puffy. Got these cup holders that used to fit my old iPhone 3 perfectly, and now obviously iPhones have got bigger. Let's have a look under the bonnet and see how bad the oil leaks are that I know it will have. They just sound like a bag of nails, don't they? Oh, memory seats too. Look at that. Original mats. Oh, I've got some service history here then. Receipt for tyres. Engine oil, brake fluid change. Spent some money on it then, the previous owner. New fuel pipes. Glow plugs. Full service. Rear springs. Injector fuel pump gasket. Yeah, someone's spent some money on it, haven't they? And if you look at the previous MOTs, it hasn't done many miles each year. At 3, 4, 5,000 miles per year. Which is always a good sign. Probably breaking all kinds of GDPR rules here, but whatever. Track rod. So that was last year's MOT. It's come from Greenfield in Oldham. I know this is the current one. Oh no. Anyway, it has some history. Well, that's what an ML270 engine looks like with no engine covers on. Some fluid leak in there by the looks of things. It's not exactly fill me with confidence, that. Oh, my seats are working anyway, as a result. Should we take it for a quick spin, see what it drives like? There we go, let's get going. Old-fashioned manual handbrake there. Down into drive. I don't know why, I really don't know why, but I just love the way these things drive. Well, so far it seems quite solid over the bumps. Not knocking or bottoming out. Got a quarter tank of diesel in it, very thoughtful. So just like I predicted, it's quite a good spec. That always seems to be the case with London registered cars, you know, cars of a decent brand anyway. They're always high spec. When you think about it, I think this had a list price of about £38,000 when it was new. Somebody spent another maybe £10,000 on options. 48 grand in 2003 was an awful lot of money, wasn't it? Well, she pulls all right. I mean, for £1,000, it's going to have its issues, isn't it? But fundamentally, it seems okay. Cosmetically, it's a little bit poor, but I don't know. Might try and get it through an MOT and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen, really? Yeah, that engine just was never a nice choice, even when it was new. In mainland Europe, they did an ML400, which had a 4-litre V8 diesel, and we never got that in right-hand drive for some reason. The better engine option was the 320 or the 500. Yes, it cost you 3, 4, 5 miles per gallon over this diesel, but they were just way more reliable. That's the thing with diesel cars. People will moan about the poor miles per gallon you get from a petrol. But then, by running a diesel, your turbo will go, your injectors will go, all kinds of stuff that you just don't have with a petrol. They're quite old-fashioned in the way that they drive these MLs, because they're a proper body-on-frame truck. It just feels solid, feels very tank-like. I've got something rattling behind me. Not sure what that is. Well, I think now I've seen it, I've seen all the rust. This isn't the one that I'm going to go to town on and fix and keep. It's just too far gone, really. If it was a nice low-mileage 500 or 55, then I would be all over it like a rash. Anyway, thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the link below. Cheers, guys. I'll see you next time.